I've been learning guitar for 2 months now, and in this video I'm going to share with you what I learned in month 2 of learning the guitar. It has been the most fun I've had in a really long time, but it hasn't been without its challenges. So I'm going to share those challenges and the triumphs, everything in between in this video from my second month learning the guitar. You can see what I learned in month 1 through a previous video I have already created. I will link that. And essentially I am learning this skill as one of many musical skills to put together a brand new musical project, and I'm sharing the journey with you. In month 1 I learned simple chords, the string names, how to read tab, the C major scale, the G major scale, note intervals on each string and how to work out what note you're actually playing on each string. So if that's an E, that's probably an F sharp. 2 finger power chords, and the E minor pentatonic scale in open position. I also figured out how to play some bar chord shapes based on some of the simple chords that I'd learned. Now I've been playing for 2 months and I've been learning in a structured way using the Fender Play App. In month 1 I worked through level 1, 2 and 3 of their electric guitar course, and in month 2, this month just gone, I made my way through level 4 of their electric guitar course. Now I've put a link in the description if you want to try it out yourself. If you use my link you help me out a little bit, and that's much appreciated if that's your vibe and if you want to try it out. I found it really handy, especially in learning things like theory, which was important to me, but you also learn a bunch of like riffs and a variety of different songs and lots of techniques for developing your playing, but it's an app specifically for beginners, so it's not too intimidating. So the start of month 2, level 4 in the Fender Play app, it actually started with the thing that I've found the most difficult in the whole of this guitar learning journey, and that has been stretching your fingers. I didn't even think that stretching your fingers was a thing. It didn't even occur to me as something that you actually have to do to get better at the guitar, but when I was starting out I found it quite difficult even just to put a finger on each fret. But now, you know, I can stretch that a little bit further, get even, ooh, I mean that's tough. I could just about do it. And that is what they start you out on level 4, is doing these exercises where you stretch your fingers and you use a pivot finger, which you know, you keep one of your fingers down as you place more fingers down, and you do this on different strings. And finger stretches, my goodness, they hurt. They take practice. It's that little bit every day, and then you look back in 4 weeks time or a month's time like I have and realise just how much stretchier your fingers are and how further you can get down the fretboard on one string. It's crazy, and that's going to help with a lot of different chords, bar chords, other chords probably. Yeah, it's one of those things that you have to be persistent with but also patient with, because it's not going to happen like overnight, you know. It's that repetition of doing stretchy exercises, doing them on different places on the neck, and on the different strings as well. I also learned some 7 chords, and 7 chords, if you're not sure of those ones, basically it makes it sound a lot more jazzy, in my opinion. So I learned the A7 chord, the E7 chord, the D7 chord, and the B7 chord. I also learnt some 3 finger power chords, which essentially just take your 2 finger power chords and beef them up. Some of the 3 finger power chords, you play essentially the same note on 2 strings, which just makes it sound so much more full, so much more rock and roll.
Bar, 3, 4, and then C5, 2, 3, 4, and then G5, 2, 3, 4.
I also learned something that I have been dying to learn, which is palm muting, which is so simple, and yet in my mind I thought it was going to be more complicated, but it's essentially just resting your palm on the strings so that it's slightly muted, and it gives you more of a chuggy vibe, and more of a it can be a bit more punchy, you know, instead of like having just like these ringing out chords. It's a bit like which I like. I like that. I'm gonna use that most definitely. And the last thing that I learnt through this app, which I found really helpful, is alternate picking. And this is when you pick down, up, down, up, down, up, you know, on each string. You know, if you're doing a pentatonic scale, for example, you pick the string down, up, then the next string down, up, next string down, up, next string down, up. Essentially, there's two ways to pick a string. You can pick it up or you can pick it down, and this is really handy, I've heard, for when you want to do more intricate solos and for when you are playing things at speed, and sometimes it's just easier to play the next string up or down depending on what you've done the note before. So yeah, that's something that has been quite something to get my head around and my fingers around, just to try and think in a different way rather than just playing down strums. It's been really helpful. I've learned so much in this level of the course, which I have found so much fun, but very difficult. But also, it gets easier every day. Like, you've seen how much more stretchy my fingers are. It's stretchier every day. Who knows, I might sprout another one by the end of this course. Something else that I always do is I always try and figure some things out for myself, and not just rely on an app or one course or one teacher to teach me everything, because I think when you love a particular style, you're the person who can seek out things in that particular style and figure out how to play things in the way that you like things like that to sound. Does that make sense? Anyway, I like to figure out some stuff on my own, and I learned a little bit about drop D, and drop D has changed my life. I once heard someone say that you can't really play guitar properly if you can't play in standard. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but all I know is drop D does make things a lot easier when you're just chugging out on the top 3 strings, because you can just bar those top 3 strings and essentially you've got a chord, and it's definitely minimal effort but maximum chug. I then figured out that drop C is essentially drop D, but all just strung down a step. Is it a whole step? I think it's a whole step. And wow, my heavy world has just opened up. Thank you very much, thank you very much. I also crafted a bit more in the style that I like. So I started writing some guitar. up until now I've been writing songs with basically just chords, whereas I've been listening to songs that I like for example Right Into by Tool. I love the guitars in that, and some other stuff by, for example, Alter Bridge and Gajira. I've just been listening to them and figuring out how they play, what they play, and what the notes actually are on guitar, and where I can play them in different places on the guitar, and that has been really, really, really cool. With this knowledge, I've been able to come up with some ideas of my own and start writing different guitar parts that go together, and that's been a massive leap forward for me. I also took note of what a couple of you were saying in the comments, and I started learning where different notes are on different strings. I found this YouTube video which was really helpful for me, really short. I will link that in the description, but essentially one of the things I was trying to do was just every couple of days or a couple of times a week just picking a note and then working out where it was on each string, so that I get familiar with where the notes are and how the notes on the guitar fit together. The layout for me is quite hard to wrap my head around because I'm used to things being laid out on a piano almost in like a very straightforward way. Up until this point, it's been more to me about shapes than it is about knowing what notes I'm actually playing, and so this has helped me a lot kind of figure out where the notes are and how they fit together and why the shapes work. And in terms of theory and writing, it's been really helpful and will continue to be helpful. I think this is going to be one of those things that's ongoing for me. It's not something that I think will click overnight, but just chipping away, learning where different notes are every now and then over time will help with my familiarity and hopefully improve my playing and my writing. So yeah, that's everything I've learned in month 2 of learning the guitar, and I am doing these updates every month, and I'm going to see how much I can get done in a year. I'm going to see how much this can improve my writing and improve my general guitar playing. So if you're interested in that, or if you're interested in the fact that I'm creating a brand new music project and seeing how that all unfolds and develops through a series of vlogs on this channel, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how your journey's going, how your creativity's going, what has helped you improve your playing over the years. I'd love to hear it. And you can see all the videos from me learning the guitar in this playlist here, and I'll post another one in the series here. Until next time.